Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Nitro Racing League here on the channel. Coming at you today, we have race number 1 of the round of 8 here in the playoffs. Just 3 races remain before the final 4 is set at Homestead Miami Speedway. So, very excited for this one here in Las Vegas, where we're qualified in the 4th position. So, right off the bat, things were looking a little bit upwards for us now. Stage 1 in this race, 35 laps, so it comes to a close as soon as we hit lap 36. Stage 2 is another 35 laps, so that will be done at the completion of lap 70, and then the race actually comes to a close on the end of lap 135. So 135 laps here around Las Vegas Motor Speedway to settle it out here, to see if someone can maybe win their way into the Final Four today, and hopefully if someone does win their way in, it will be us here now, as we are coming off of a strong first round of the playoffs. Last episode didn't end how we wanted it to at Road America, but we definitely had the best car at Road America, so that was a nice little thing to build some confidence off of coming here into Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So as well as upcoming here in this round after Las Vegas, we have Martinsville Speedway, where in the past I've always been very dominant at Martinsville, but recently in the last race we did there, I was terrible. So we definitely need to be on the attack today, trying to win our way in so we can go to Martinsville with a little bit more comfort. And then we have Talladega as the elimination race. I'm more concerned about Martinsville than I am Talladega, to be completely honest with you guys. Now, it's on lap 3 up in front of us, a bit of a mistake from Connor. He got in the wall, Andrew went to the top, I took it 3 wide to the inside, went around both of them up into the lead. We went for the first time here today, but it did not actually last very long. I didn't realize how powerful the inside was here in Las Vegas. So you were seeing myself basically run the top in the early parts of this race, because I just didn't know the inside could work so well, and Andrew Wisdom was able to actually take the lead on the inside there in that 9 car. So we settle in behind him here in 2nd place, and then we come through to lap 12 and actually had some contact with our teammate Matt, but then behind us actually an incident there as the 12 of Cameron goes around, a few other drivers involved as well, and that would bring up the first caution of the day here from Las Vegas. So everybody came into the pit lane, did the choose cone. Andrew was again on the front row with myself. I chose the top, he chose the bottom. We got back underway here with a decent restart. Definitely could have been a lot better, but we will at least settle in here to the top 3 or 4, maybe top 5 at least now, as we come through 1 and 2, and just 20 laps remained in this first and opening stage. There you see Jonathan go up there into 2nd place. We can now make it to the end of stage 1 without having to pit, because we did pit under that caution. So you can't really make it to the end of these stages without pitting, of course, now, as I think you're probably 5-6 laps short or something like that of stage 1 and 2 of actually being able to make it completely through it. So now as we go down into turns 1, letting Jonathan there just get in front of myself, as I actually got into the back of him a little bit. Now, as you can see, I was starting to use the inside line a little bit more, realizing that there's some power down there, but then Jonathan trying to make a move up the inside of Andrew didn't quite work, and that was allowing me to sneak up the outside. We would actually get past Jonathan, take 2nd place from him, and we cut straight through to 6 laps to go in the stage. And at this point, just riding behind Andrew Wisdom, just trying to wait to the final lap to try and make a move on him, but it comes a little bit early there out of turns 4, coming to 3 to go on the stage. He hits the wall. I go all the way through the grass, are making a pass and take the lead away here with a few laps to go in stage 1, and we would be able to hang on for the rest of the stage to pick up the stage victories. We come through straight to the final lap out of turns 4 for the final time down this front straightaway. We will win stage 1 here from Las Vegas, and that will give us an extra playoff point, which doesn't matter whatsoever, because obviously the next round is the championship race. So now back underway though for the start of stage 2 here, as we were back out in front, chose the inside line on the choose cone rule, so I was hoping that was going to help us out. I didn't get the best launch here. You can see Matt in the 14 actually had a pretty good restart, but we would get clear through turns 1 and out of turns 2, and Andrew Wisdom trying to look up the inside as we go down this back straightaway. So I was really happy that we were able to get maximum points there in that first and opening stage, because if we can't win today, it's all about just building up as many points as humanly possible to give us a nice little buffer going into the next one at Martinsville. And we start off today's episode doing exactly that, but can we continue that? That's the real question here now, as they were going 3 wide behind us now in lap 45, and then actually as we went down into turn 3, there was a crash behind us with a few drivers. That would bring out the 2nd caution of the day. So once again, we were leading for the choose cone rule after pitting, and I chose the outside this time because I said, you know what, if I'm in a position earlier where I'm fortunate enough to be on the front row for a last restart, just a late race restart in general, I want to make sure I've tested out both lanes beforehand, so that way I know, of course, which one's going to work better, and I determined I think I'd rather be on the inside here for the future restarts in this race, because you can see the outside not working nearly as well for me. You can definitely make the outside work if you play games with the leader, but I just try to go right off the bat in the restart zone. Now as actually Andrew goes a little bit high out of turns 4, I'm going to try and cross him over, go down to the inside now as we're side by side for the lead as I cut through the grass again now, but unfortunately just wasn't really working here on the inside at this point in the second stage. So now at this point I decided we're just going to settle in behind him and just jump up to the top in his draft as we went down this back straightaway. The 14 of Matt, aka Mahu, there behind us is now, I stayed up on the top this time, and that was a bit of a mistake because that left the door wide open for the 14, and that also brings Matt O'Brien to the into the mix as I got into the outside wall on the exit of turns 4, and now Jonathan's going to take advantage in the 20. He's going to go blowing by on the inside, and now I left the door open again here for the 19 of Matt, and then they actually make a tiny bit of contact right there through the center of the corner, and then as we come through out of turns 2, he's actually going to chop my nose, put myself in the wall, and make this now turning into a disaster for us basically now, as Matt said he was clear on his screen. Obviously he wasn't clear on our screen because we got absolutely destroyed. Obviously he did not mean to do that. There was no intent there. So we would fortunately be able to get back past the 3 car and just jump right back into this battle with the top 4 drivers of Mahu in the 14, Andrew in the 9, Matt in the 19, as well as Jonathan in the 20. And things start to get a little bit crazy here in stage 2 now as we're closing in towards the final 10 laps of the second stage already, and now you see a door opens for myself. We make it 3 wide with Matt and Andrew. I unfortunately slide up the track right there. No contact on my end. I don't know if I ran into the 19 of Matt on his screen, but either way we're back up into 3rd place for the time being. But that was just the beginning of the craziness. You're about to see just how wild it gets here. Now Andrew clipped the apron there, pushes up into the side of the 14, and then I'm gonna go 3 wide in the middle. They left the door wide open. They both decide they're gonna close the door on me, but I'm already here, so there's nothing they can do about it at that point. Now Matt O'Brien tried to force it 4 wide, and then I tried to give him room at the last second, and unfortunately I just pulled a little bit left as Andrew was coming up, so myself and Andrew went into each other. Matt forces it 4 wide again now here as we go down this back straightaway. Jonathan on the inside, myself, Matt in the middle, Mahu on the top, and none of us decide to back out into turn 3 except Matt at the last second, but there was contact between myself and the 19. That drifted me up the track into the side of the 14. He went up the track. He was not happy with the Joe Gibbs Racing team whatsoever. I don't blame him whatsoever. We were all racing way over our heads at this point, but at the same time it's playoff racing. Everybody's going for every single spot they can get, and that's exactly what you have to do at this point in the season. So a lot of crazy racing here in the second stage. There were still 10 laps to go in the second stage, coming to 9 laps to go now, as we would still be side by side with Matt O'Brien into turn 3, but fortunately I would be able to get clear of him. And then now on lap 65, coming to just 5 laps to go here in the stage. Out of turns 4, we had Mahu right on our back bumper trying to push us through now as we were up the inside of the 20 of Jonathan. I did not want to get to the inside of Andrew Wisdom right here, but I also didn't want to just back out of the throttle. So next thing you know, we were side by side for the lead. I knew it really wasn't going to work out in my favor, and sure enough, on lap 66 through turns 3 and 4, still cannot get past the 9 of Andrew here. As now Mahu, he's going to try and force it 3 wide on us now as we come through the tri-oval now, as we had 3 cars going for 1 very tight space, and unfortunately I pushed Andrew up the track. He does not hesitate to punt me into turns 1. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Doesn't really change anything here. We were already having a bad little apex there, and then actually we get put in the wall on the exit of turn 2, so down to 4th place we go here now, as I'm realizing we gotta try and get everything we can here before the stage comes to a close. 3 wide in front of us again for the lead now, as we're gonna try and go up the inside here of Mahu as well as Matt O'Brien now, as nobody is giving up at this point here. Everyone going for every little point they can get, and I was having an absolute blast here in this race. And then we get pinched down by the 14, and I'm assuming I hit him on his screen, but in my opinion that was not much I could do on that one. So now up into 2nd place for a moment, but then now Matt O'Brien gets back up the inside into turn 3, and now we were side by side into turns 1. We had a little bit of contact right there. I clipped the wall, and now just 2 laps to go in the stage. Mahu goes up the inside. I had a very easy opportunity to take a 3 wide right here, some contact with the 19, but I didn't want to force it 3 wide on the 14, so I just stayed behind him, and then we came through finally to finish stage 2 in the 4th place. Andrew was able to run away after all of us just started battling each other non-stop there at the end of the stage. So we picked up 2 points in stage 2. Definitely, we could have done a lot better than that, but we get underway for the start of this third and final stage now here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And, well, it didn't take long to get forced 3 wide into turns 1. I was a little bit aggravated on that one now, as it's just unnecessary at this point in the stage. But the 95 actually got forced in the wall. Then the 2 car of Smoke, he went around no caution. We keep it going here because it was just a single car incident. So now this race comes to a close at the end of lap 135. So as soon as we hit lap 136, without overtime that is, the race is over here. So that was something we were keeping an eye on now, as it was likely going to be a 2 pit stop stage 3 here from Las Vegas. So it's all about timing here. When do you want to make that pit stop? You don't want to be the guy that's staying out the longest on tires, because it's really hard to pass here if you don't have the draft. So it was really bringing up a lot of different potential ideas in my mind, but we would come through now to lap 79 and we were up into P3. We got past the 14 of Mahu. Well, I say that, he was actually on our inside, but I get to the back of the 9 of Andrew Wisdom, push him down this back straightaway. We got the 19 of Matt there in second place on the inside as well. So many Matts. I hope you guys know which one I'm talking about when I say, well, it's Matt, this Matt, what Matt? I don't know. There's so many Matts. There's too many of them. There should be like a Matt limit or something in the Nitro Racing League now as we come through the lap 83. Mahu got back in front of us, so now we were battling with the 19 here into turns 1. Actually let him go, and then he just overshoots the corner, and I look like a genius right there letting him go, because I'm able to go up the inside here and not complete the pass, unfortunately, and now I have 0 hope. But then Jonathan decides to force a 3 wide into turn 3. I actually tried to close the door on him right there. I was like, I am not letting that happen, but unfortunately we make contact, and then I slide up into the 19, and now here we are out of turns 4 under attack once again. But thankfully I have help this time from Cameron in the 12, so I would stay out in front of him, and then we would all run down the front 2 drivers. Andrew Wisdom made a mistake somehow there in turns 1, not sure exactly what happened, but he was racing hard with the 14, and then I would now be side by side for second place down into turns 3 here on lap 91, getting close to making our first of 2 pit stops here in stage 3, but unfortunately right there I clipped the apron out of turns 4, a bit of a mistake, and then it was like a train on the top, and I had 0 help down here other than Andrew pulling down in front of me. But for some reason I never picked up any draft from that Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro. So now the 14 of Mahu was way out in front, as we were in this little situation where we were battling hard like the end of stage 2 earlier in this race. But unfortunately with that train effect, I would drop all the way down into 5th place here and have to settle in behind the 95 of Connor. But then now on lap 97 we were back up the inside, got past Connor and got up into 4th place, but got stuck right here behind the 12 of Cameron. He had speed, but not enough to be leading this train, so we weren't gaining anything. So I was trying to find a way to get past him, but he had just enough speed to where he was actually able to hold on the outside. So unfortunately we all lost a lot of time collectively, but then on lap 101 we're all deciding to come into the pit lane. As that's happening, I'm running out of fuel. Up in front of us, Mahu gets taken out by a lap car in the 2. I go spinning into the pit lane. We save it. The 14 is around. No cautions coming out. It's a single car incident there, and I just felt so stupid there, wrecking myself. And unfortunately everybody of course takes 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel. Well, due to that spin, I lose all this time, and now I have lost the draft from the main pack. So we would get past Matt Chaffee in the 10 car now and move back up into 6th place, but you can see I had no chance at this point. I had lost the draft, and now I am starting to think of different strategies that we can do to try and give myself any chance possible to salvage those points we just lost. We lost about 3-4 points potentially right there, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in Nitro with so few races, it is a lot of points. So now I'm doing math. How much do I have to save to make it to the end of this race? At this point in the race, I was using about 3% a lap, and 14 laps to go, that puts us at 42%, and I was 9% over target to make it to the end of this race at this point. So it was not looking very good. And then we came through to now lap 127. Myself and Jonathan decide we're going to risk it here and take no tires, stay out as long as we can, take no tires, just a splash of fuel. So I would cycle out behind Andrew. So I knew I wasn't going to win the race, but I had a chance for a 3rd place finish. Jonathan, on the end of this lap, decides he's going to come into the pit lane, does the exact same thing that we do, takes no tires, takes a splash of fuel. He would cycle out to take the lead away from Andrew Wisdom. Now at this point, if I wanted to make it to the end of this race, I had to average 2.7% wear or lower on my right rear tire if I wanted to make it to the end. So now, coming to the closing laps here, and we were down to 11%, then to 9% here with just about 3 laps to go in this race. And I had gotten it to a point where I was comfortable. I said by just my calculations that I was making on the fly, I was going to make it by about 1%. And now 2 laps to go in this race. We get passed by the 2, he's a lap down. So I'm holding on to 3rd place. We come through to start the final lap, 4% on the right rear tire. So I said we should probably make it by about 1%. It was looking like that was exactly what was going to happen. I really backed my pace down, of course, after my pit stop, because I knew if I kept running the pace I was beforehand, I wasn't going to make it to the end of this race. I was going to be a lap and a half, potentially 2 laps short. So down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4, Jonathan, myself, on the no tire pit stop strategy, it's going to pick him up a victory and a lock into the final for Homestead Miami Speedway. Andrew Wisdom second. We're going to leapfrog the pack and get up into 3rd place with this strategy. 1% on our right rear tires across the line. Matt O'Brien there in 4th place. So now, of course, we're going to take a look at the point standings after Las Vegas here for the first race of the round of 8. And we are 17 points to the good. Jonathan locked in. Andrew Wisdom good by 14. Mahu, Matt in the 14 car good by 5. Matt O'Brien out by 5. Cameron out by 12. Connor out by 14. And Matt Chaffee out by 15 points. So going into Martinsville, I don't know what to expect there. I've had up and down history apparently or recently there. So hopefully it'll work out for us. And of course, before we end it, just want to say thank you to the Going Racing members of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasura, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Danny9302, Speed Demon 341, as well as Illinois Diecast. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.